Good morning, children. Welcome to online classes. We are in day 4 session from unit 2nd, friction. In the last classes we have learned about static friction and sliding friction, how it happens and on what factors frictional force depends on, what factors frictional force doesn't depend. We all have learned about them in the previous classes. Today in this session we will be learning about how to reduce the friction or increase the friction, and how rolling friction works is exerted, and we will also discuss about the necessity of friction. Coming to the rolling friction, see, when one object rolls over the another object, rolling friction comes into play. That is, example, your suitcase excuse me. Suitcase will have rollers. See, instead of holding the suitcase in your hand, if you have rollers at the bottom, if you can roll over the surface of the floor, it is so easy to move the luggage instead of lifting it. Instead of holding in your hand and move, it is so easy. You need less force to carry the luggage. So in such cases, when one body is rolling over the other body, the frictional force offered by the surface there is called as rolling friction. Coming to the friction, what happens? See, when we rub our palms like this, you can observe, you can experience some kind of hotness. Here, heat is produced here when you rub your palms. In the same way, when you strike the matchstick to the matchbox, when one rubs the other, temperature increases, hence your matchstick is able to catch fire. Here, frictional force, it's so clear here that frictional force produces heat, because of which the machine parts get damaged because of lot of heat. When we walk, see, usually we use slippers. On the first day of our slippers, new shoes, we will have some grooves which provides better grip to walk or run. By continuously using the shoes, the grooves become smoother and you cannot run fastly or you cannot walk fastly, because it causes, it reduces friction because the surfaces has become smoother. Smooth surfaces offers lower friction. Hence you will not have proper grip to run or to walk, and there is a chance of falling down. And the new tires which you buy, car vehicle tires, they will also have irregularities, ups and downs. It is it is threaded. Usually the tires are threaded to increase the friction for safe movement of the vehicle, to avoid accidents. So here, friction is necessary in these cases, but sometimes if the friction is very less, we have some difficulties. If friction is more, when in the machinery parts, usually in the factories and industries, when the machines are running, by continuous running, they rub against each other, the surfaces of the machines rub against each other, and when they rub against each other, temperature is increased, heat is produced. Large amount of heat production leads to the damage of the machinery. So there we need to reduce the friction in such cases. It means as friction is necessary in our everyday life, if it is more we have some difficulty, if it is less we have some difficulty. In order to avoid such problems, according to our requirements, we need to reduce the friction or increase the friction. So what are the ways are there to reduce the friction or increase the friction? Let us discuss in detail in this session. See, first of all, let us reduce the friction. In order to reduce the friction, already discussed in our previous sessions that smooth surfaces offers less frictional force. Smooth surfaces offer less frictional force. So, if I want to reduce the friction, I have to make the surface smooth. That's the first one. That's what we will do in our carrom board. As the board provides more friction, we sprinkle powder. We sprinkle powder so that the surface becomes smooth. If it becomes smooth, what happens? It offers less resistance. So, smooth surfaces offers less friction. In the same way, if we want to increase the friction, what we need to do? We have to make it rough. How to make rough? The tires of our vehicles, sole of our shoes are grooved, are threaded to make it rough, so that the ups and downs interlock and it offers more resistance. That's the reason we will have threadings in our tires. And another way of reducing the friction is, say, on the wet surface, on a rainy day, on a wet muddy surface, we slip, right? From that example, it's so clear that wet surfaces reduces friction. So, by making the surfaces wet, we can reduce the friction. In the same way, by making the surfaces dry, we can increase the friction. Coming to the next, by using lubricants. What is meant by lubricant? Lubricant are those materials which are used to reduce friction. In order to reduce friction, what all things we use, like oil, grease, or your carrom board powder, these all comes under lubricants because we use them to reduce our friction. See, to the hinges of the door, usually in the rainy season, they get, because of sometimes our door makes sound because of more friction produced between the surfaces. Sometimes our machine doesn't rotate fastly, smoothly, making some sound. Our windows hinges also make sound and they cannot open or close easily, quickly. In such cases, we apply some oil to that. Why do you think we apply? Here the oil is acting like a lubricant. It smooths the surface. When it smoothens the surface, it offers less resistance. Less friction. So, in this way, in order to reduce the friction, we can use lubricants like oil, grease, etc. Did you ever observe the kabaddi players in the ground? They apply, they touch the mud and they rub their hands. That is because of the sweat, their hands becomes wet, and when they try to catch the person, there is a chance of slipping off because of the wetness or sweat. So in order to avoid that, they make their palms, they make their hands rough by rubbing with the soil. So here, in that way, in order to increase the friction, you should make your surface dry by or to make it rough. In the same way, in order to reduce the friction, we need to make the surfaces wet by applying some lubricants like oil, grease, etc. Next way of reducing friction is ball bearings. Ball bearings is the most important way to reduce friction, because in most of the machinery industries and factories, in running the machinery, ball bearings helps us to reduce the friction. What are ball bearings actually? Let us take two lids usually. Take one lid, place some marbles, 4 or 5 marbles, and now take another lid and cover it. Try to rotate the top lid. Because of the marbles placed here, the top lid rolls easily, it moves easily without rubbing the bottom one. When the top lid and the bottom lid is made to roll on between the shafts, rotating shafts, they move, but in between you will be having some balls which avoids the physical contact of the two shafts. Like if I place this balls like this, when I attach in between the rotating shafts, we'll have some rolling objects or metal balls. Here, by using ball bearings, when we make our rotating shafts rotate, placing the balls between, the two surfaces doesn't touch or doesn't come into physical contact. When that doesn't touch, there is no rubbing happens. When no rubbing happens, when they doesn't touch each other, temperature doesn't increase, no heat production is done there. Heat is not produced there. Because of that, no friction is increased. This helps the machinery to run smoothly. It does not allow the machine to get spoiled, damaged, because due to friction, due to more rubbing, friction, more temperature is increased, because of which the machinery has a chance of getting damaged quickly. So by using ball bearings, we can avoid this. So ball bearings is the most important way of reducing friction in machinery. So these are the ways to reduce the friction or increase the friction according to our necessity. Friction is necessary in our day-to-day life. Without friction, nothing is possible. We can write, we can hold the things in our hands, we are able to stand, we can run our machineries, we can run our vehicles. These all are possible only with friction. But still, friction should not be more. Sometimes, if more friction is there, it will bring some difficulties. If less friction is there, then also we will be facing some problems. So, as we need friction to live our life, it helps us to move our vehicles and all. We can hold the things, we can write, we can read, whatever. Everything is possible with friction. We are able to construct the buildings. So, this is the reason to make our lives possible easily, we can run our lives easily. We have to increase or decrease depending upon our situations. For example, in machinery we need to reduce friction. There, in order to walk in our shoes, we need to increase friction. So depending upon the situations, we need to either increase or decrease. So these are the ways to increase friction or decrease friction. That's all for today's session. Thank you.